221-24 Bhashya.
ननु मनसा इति वचनाद् न वाचिकानां कायिकानां च संन्यासः इति चेत्.
Translation. Objection. As it is with the mind, will it not be correct to say that the renouncing of oral and bodily activity are not prescribed? Bhashya.
न सर्वकर्माणि इति विशेषितत्वात्.
Translation. Reply. No, because of the categorical expression, all actions. Bhashya.
मानसानाम् एव सर्वकर्मणाम् इति चेत्.
Translation. Objection. Suppose it is all actions of the mind. Bhashya.
न मनोव्यापारपूर्वकत्वात् वाक्कायव्यापाराणां मनोव्यापाराभावे तदनुपपत्तेः.
Translation. Reply. Not correct, because action of the mind precede all oral and bodily actions. They cannot take place without the action of the mind. Bhashya.
शास्त्रीयाणां वाक्कायकर्मणां कारणानि मानसानि वर्जयित्वा अन्यानि सर्वकर्माणि मनसा संन्यसेत् इति चेत्.
Translation. Objection. May it not be said that all actions may be renounced except those oral and bodily actions enjoined by the scriptures and the mental actions that cause them? Bhashya.
न एव कुर्वन् न कारयन् इति विशेषणात्.
Translation. Reply. No, because it is specifically stated, quote, neither acting nor causing others to act, unquote. 221-25 Explanation. The nature of the objections raised would confirm that these are from the Purva Mimamsakas, for whom Vedic rituals are the be-all and end-all of Vedas. They cannot even imagine renouncing Vedic rituals. According to them, no one is entitled to renounce the actions to be performed by the body and orally. Clinging on to the phrase with the mind in the Gita shloka cited, they try to exclude oral and bodily actions from renunciation. It is obvious they want to continue to recite the mantras and do the rituals like Agnihotra. At this stage of the argument, they allow renunciation only in the mental plane. The Acharya meets this objection by stating that there cannot be any bodily action without mental activity, and therefore the renunciation applies to all karma. Now they try to plead for a special exclusion for the rituals. This too is met easily with the words, quote, acting or making others act, unquote, which are there in the cited shloka. Therefore, renunciation of all karma is enjoined on the knower of truth. 221-26 Bhashya.
सर्वकर्म संन्यास अयं भगवतः उक्तः मरिष्यतः न जीवतः इति चेत्.
Translation. Objection. Can it not be that Bhagavan meant the renunciation of all action to be for the dying man and not for the living? Bhashya.
न नवद्वारे पुरे देहि आस्ते इति विशेषण अनुपपत्तेः. न हि सर्वकर्मसन्न्यासेन मृतस्य तद्देहे आसनं सम्भवति अकुर्वतः अकारयतः च.
Translation. Reply. No. Then the description, quote, the embodied one sits in the nine-gate city, unquote, will be meaningless. It is not possible for a person who dies renouncing all action to sit in the body without acting or causing others to act. 221-27 Explanation. The Purva Mimamsakas cannot think of renouncing the karma prescribed by the Veda. They argue that a person facing death is the only one eligible for renouncing action, as in any case he is not in a position to do any action. The nine-gate city is the body with 9 openings, 7 in the head and 2 for excretion. The sloka on which this argument is based has been quoted in para 221.23. It says, renouncing all actions with the mind, the embodied one rests happily in the nine-gate city, neither acting nor causing others to act. It is not possible to construe a dying person sitting in the body happily. Therefore, the statement cannot be about a dying person. 221.28 Bhashya.
देहे सन्न्यस्य इति सम्बन्धः न देहे आस्ते इति चेत्.
Translation. Objection. Can we not say, quote, depositing all actions in the body, unquote, and not, quote, resting in the body, unquote. Bhashya.
न सर्वत्र आत्मनः अविक्रियत्वावधारणात् आसनक्रियायाः च अधिकरण अपेक्षत्वात् तदनपेक्षत्वात् च सन्न्यासस्य. सम्पूर्वः तु न्यासशब्दः इह त्यागार्थः न निक्षेपार्थः.
Translation. Reply. No. Everywhere it is stated clearly that the self is immutable. Resting requires a place to rest, while renunciation does not. The prefix sam with nyasa shows that the word means renouncing, not depositing. 221.29 Explanation. The last objection is by reconstructing the sentence under discussion. The objector attributes the meaning of deposit to nyasa and says, then the meaning will be deposit all your karma, action in the body and rest in the self, instead of renounce all your karma and rest in the body. But the self has no action. This is reiterated by the Shruti and Smriti. Moreover, the word in the cited sloka is he rests, aste. Resting needs a base to rest on. Self cannot be that base because, as categorically asserted by the Shruti, self is without any function and cannot serve as a base. But the body is mutable and can serve as the base. When you renounce, you do not need a base to renounce into. Moreover, the Acharya says, with the prefix sam, the word nyasa can mean only renunciation. Thus, the only meaning that would suit the cited sloka is, renouncing all karma, the self rests in the body. 221.30 Bhashya.
तस्माद् गीताशास्त्रे आत्मज्ञानवतः सन्न्यासे एव अधिकारः न कर्मणि इति तत्र तत्र उपरिष्टाद् आत्मज्ञानप्रकरणे दर्शयिष्यामः.
Translation. Therefore, according to the scripture of Gita, the only entitlement for the enlightened is for renunciation and not for action. We will show this again later on in the context dealing with the knowledge of the self. 221.31 Bhashya.
प्रकृतं तु वक्ष्यामः तत्र आत्मनः अविनाशित्वं प्रतिज्ञातं तत् किम् इव उच्यते.
Translation. And now we shall speak of the matter in hand. The subject was the indestructibility of the self. As to what it is like, it is going to be stated.